Yogamasmi Jyotirjwalati Brahmahamasmi Yogamasmi Brahmahamasmi Ahamasmi Brahmahamasmi Ahamevaham Mam Juhomi Swaha. Melting into the light, I am the light that shines. The light shines, the light which is Brahman. That which I am is nothing but Brahman. I exist, and I exist as Brahman. I myself offer myself into the infinite light, which is myself. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. Well, good evening to everyone. As I said last night, for those of you who were here last night, there's no need for me to give a long introduction for the Swami. He is known to many, many people around the world from his YouTube lectures. He's the present head of the Vedanta Society in New York, in Manhattan, the west side of Central Park. And he is a personal friend of mine whom I'm very glad to have come here to Houston. He's been here before, but this is his second trip to Houston. In fact, his first trip to the United States was a visit initiated by the Vedanta Society of Houston. He was invited here by the Vedanta Society. And now he's living here in the United States. And so again, I'm very happy to have him here. As I said, he's a friend of mine. I can't say an old friend, because he's not old. I've known him for several years, but he's a good friend of mine. Someone whom I have great love and respect for. And we used to have coffee together at Bellarmine when I was living in Bellarmine, our headquarters outside of Calcutta. And he was an acharya, a teacher at the monastic seminary for the novice monks. We used to have coffee together, and I used to look forward to meeting him in the morning for coffee, and delighted when once in a while I would meet him at the university for coffee in the evening as well. And when he came to the United States for posting, came here to stay, then that was the end of my morning coffee trips to the canteen for coffee, because without him there, without someone like him to talk to, the coffee itself wasn't worth it. So without taking more time, I will, with great pleasure, ask him to address you.
Om Asato Ma Sargaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Good evening, everybody. I offer my pranams to Revered Swami Atmarupanji Maharaj. He kindly organized this trip. He invited me here and gave me this opportunity. I would just like to share with you that you know, it's a great resource having somebody like that. Many of you may not know the vast depth of knowledge and experience which he has both in the East and the West, in Vedanta and in the religions of the world. He's quite an international figure. So when he is here, take maximum benefit from him. The subject this evening is the essence of all Vedanta. And this phrase actually is from Shankaracharya's opening remarks on his commentary to the Mandukya Upanishad. when he starts his commentary to the Mandukya Karika, Mandukya Upanishad and Karika, he writes, Sarva, basically the Upanishads. When we were brahmacharis, we learned the definition of Vedanta, classical definition of Vedanta. Vedanta nama Upanishad Pramanam. So in Vedanta, first this. So Vedanta is the source of spiritual knowledge called the Upanishads. And the Upanishads themselves form part of the most ancient scriptures of the Hindus, the Vedas. It's called Vedanta because it is the final teachings, the highest teachings. Literally it means the end, but end sometimes, the texts are sometimes found at the end of the Samhita portion of the Vedas, sometimes not, sometimes in the middle of the text. But end in what sense? One of the meanings of Anta in Sanskrit is Siddhanta, the final conclusion, the highest teachings of the Vedas. In these days, consciousness studies has become so important. I mentioned it yesterday. There's a book which I came across, Evan Thompson. He's a professor of philosophy in the University of British Columbia, in Vancouver. He's written this book, Sleeping, Dreaming, Being, book on consciousness studies, philosophy and consciousness studies. Not just from the Vedantic perspective, but also from Buddhistic perspective, and modern consciousness studies and studies in neuroscience. A nice book. I haven't finished it yet, but at the very beginning of the book, there's a fine quote from another philosopher that consciousness studies did not start just 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It started more than 5,000 years ago in the texts called the Upanishads. And this quote, he goes on to say, is such a radical claim that even we as Vedantists are not so bold. He says that these texts, the Upanishads, are so important that we who date history as BC and AD, we would do well to date history as before Upanishad and after Upanishad. He goes on to say that. You know. So among these Upanishads, there are many of these Upanishads. The Mandukya Upanishad, which is the text I shall use this evening, it is the smallest and the most powerful. It is universally very highly regarded among non-dualists, among Advaita Vedantas. It is in the Atharva Veda, the Mandukya Upanishad, and it has only 12 mantras. There are Upanishads which are very big, Brihadaranyaka and Chandogya are the biggest. And there are Upanishads which are middle size, Kathopanishad and the Mundaka Upanishad. But the Mandukya is the smallest, with only 12 mantras. Usually the way it is studied is, there is a text called Mandukya Karika. These 12 mantras of the Mandukya Upanishad are embedded in the first chapter. The Mandukya Karika has 4 chapters. In the first chapter, the Upanishad is included in the first chapter. And there are verses. The Karika means verses. These verses were composed by Gaudapada Acharya, Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru. Uttarakhand they use Hindi, Dada Guru. Dada means grandfather. So grandfather Dada. Guru's Guru, Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru, who was a very radical non-dualist, as we shall see this evening. He used the Mandukya Upanishad as the basis for teaching non-dual Vedanta. So the Mandukya Upanishad chapter of 4 chapters in the Mandukya Karika, he wrote 215 verses divided into 4 chapters. That's why Shankaracharya says in his introduction that these 4 chapters, Prakarana Chatushtayam Idam, these 4 chapters on Vedanta, they contain the essence of the teaching of all Vedanta. Sarva Vedanta Artha Sara Sangraha Bhutam. It's such a small Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. In Bengali there is a term, Dhani Lanka. It means a small chili which is very, very hot. Very hot. So the Upanishad is like that. It's tiny but very hot. In fact, in another Upanishad, a later Upanishad, Muktika Upanishad, we have Hanuman going to Sri Ramachandra and asking, how does one get liberation? Mukti. And Ramachandra says, read the Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukyam ekamevalam mumukshunam vimuktaye Mandukya Upanishad by itself is sufficient to give liberation to those who seek it, those who seek liberation. For them, Mandukya is enough. Suppose I don't get it, by the end of this evening, if I am not liberated, if I am not enlightened, then what do I do? And then Ramchandra goes on to give a syllabus of 108 Upanishads. So if you are not liberated, then there is this 108 Upanishads. You can go and read that and try to understand and practice all of that, and then you must get. So it's much easier, I think, if you quickly get liberation with the Mandukya Upanishad itself. So the Mandukya Upanishad, I will try to, oh, it's not made easy. Somebody was saying it's made easy or something. Mandukya Upanishad has a reputation of being difficult. There are reasons why it is difficult. It is simple. It's very direct. Can't get more direct than it. It's stripped down to the very essence. Usually Upanishads are in the form of student-teacher conversation, a dialogue, like a Socratic dialogue. There are stories and different things in the Upanishads. Here there's nothing. Just the direct teaching, and that's it, finished. The essential teaching and one method of meditation. That's all, finished. And that's the Mandukya Upanishad. Now, why is it difficult? We will see today a little bit. It can be a little unsettling. Before we go into it, a few notes of caution. The Mandukya Upanishad can also be a little dangerous. Dangerous in the sense that there are people, I know, and I've heard of people who studied it and said, wow, this is the essence of spirituality, that's it, I don't need anything else. Why go to temples, why meditate, why pray, all that is unnecessary, that is for lower people. I'm the Mandukya category person. Disaster. You're asking for trouble if you go down that route. I heard a story, I was in the training center where teaching the brahmacharis Vedanta. I heard a story many years ago. Its very senior Swami was visiting Belur Math, and he asked, what are you teaching the boys, the novices? And somebody said, we are studying the Mandukya Upanishad. And he said, no, don't teach them that, they'll become atheists, nastic. They'll become atheists. And when I heard the story, I thought, nothing is happening. I'm not becoming a theist or atheist, nothing. We don't seem to have any effect. Well, then you're safe. If no effect, you're safe. The best that we can hope for is becoming enlightened. But the danger one should be careful about. Don't understand it, very good. Don't understand it, okay, no problem. Misunderstand it, dangerous. So with that caution, we'll go into it. The Upanishad itself, like all Upanishads, like all Vedanta, has a simple, straightforward message. There is an ultimate reality of this universe. Brahman. Literally, the word Brahman, not the caste Brahman. Brahman. Brahman literally means the vast. The etymological derivation, Brihadhatu, it means to expand, vast, the infinite. So there is a reality which is called Brahman, or whatever you can call it. It's simply sometimes called that. Tat, that. And it is knowing that reality, we go beyond suffering and sorrow, we attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is basically knowing that reality. And knowing that you go beyond sorrow, you might ask, how do I go beyond sorrow? How do I become enlightened? By knowing Brahman. How do I go beyond sorrow? Brahman is the secret of the universe, the reality of the universe. That sounds wonderful, sounds cool. But what about me? How do I go beyond sorrow by knowing it? Well, that is the actual teaching of all the Upanishads. Wait for it. It's you. Brahman is the real you. You are Brahman. That's basically the teaching of the Upanishads. If you want the entire teaching of Advaita Vedanta in one sentence, that thou art, Tattvamasi. These are the great Mahavakyas, so-called great sentences. Mahavakya literally, Maha, great, Vakya, sentence. Great sentence not in the sense of long sentences, of which there are plenty in Sanskrit. They can easily fill up half a page or 1 page with one sentence. Not in that sense. It is in the sense of being profound. Arthatovaha, in the sense of depth of meaning. It's profound, in that sense it is great. Conventionally, one such sentence is taken from each of the Vedas. Four Vedas, four Mahavakyas. But actually there are more. In fact, the definition of Mahavakya is anything that expresses the identity of the Jiva and Brahman. That you are that absolute. Any sentence which expresses that meaning in the Vedas can technically be considered a Mahavakya. But conventionally, formally, there are four. The most famous is Tattvamasi, that thou art. It is from the Chandogya Upanishad. And then Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. That is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Then from the Aitareya Upanishad, it is Prajnanam Brahma. This very awareness which we have right now, properly understood, that is the ultimate reality. And the last one, which is from this Upanishad, which we are going to talk about, Ayamatma Brahma. This very self is the absolute. This very self is the absolute. But it has to be understood properly. You have to realize yourself as one with God, whatever is God in the religions of the world. In what sense? Not in the sense of I am God. Aham Brahmasmi does not mean I am God. I am the absolute is different from I am God. Anyway, all that will become pretty clear when we go through the Mandukya Upanishad today. So I'm going to pack in. The Mandukya Upanishad itself is highly condensed. And I'm going to condense it even further within 1 hour, 45 minutes or so. Let's see how it goes. We might have time for 1 or 2 questions. Even if we do not, tomorrow we have a full session of interaction. Dream, sleep and deep sleep. Waking, dreaming, sleeping. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti in Sanskrit. Using this is the beauty of the Mandukya Upanishad. It does not say, practice like this and then you will realize that you are the absolute. Something will come, some extraordinary experience will come and you will realize you are the absolute. No. It says take up the experience everybody has. We all have it. And I will just take that up. Take that up means consider it. We will show you how to investigate into the experience all of us have. And will lead you to the absolute, not only an understanding, but a realization of that, and leading to freedom. Directly. When? Here. Where? Here. When? Now. Often, just as an aside before I start, the method of Advaita, of Jnana Yoga is not properly appreciated. You see, depending on how we construe the problem, the solution also will be according to that. What do I mean by that is, that in the path of devotion, the problem is that there is an ultimate reality, we call it God or Father in heaven or Allah or Vishnu or Shiva, whatever we call it. There is a God, creator of this universe, omniscient, all-powerful, all-loving, merciful, just, so on. Now, what is the problem? The problem is you don't have faith. You don't believe it. You don't surrender. You don't worship. So solution is bhakti. Believe, faith, worship, surrender, love this God, adore this God and surrender to it, and then that bhakti itself will take you to liberation. It will solve the problems of your life. So that's the theistic part. But it starts with faith. You can't start with questioning them. You can't start with why can't I see God there? So there the approach is through faith. And that's how religion is mostly understood in the world. Look at the word for religion in America. What is the word? Faith. But that's not an appropriate word to use for something like the Mandukya Upanishad, for example. You will see. Faith. So, another approach is the yogic approach, which says that, not faith. You don't have to believe in something. Rather, you have to experience it. I will show you a set of exercises. You sit like this, you meditate like this, you breathe like this, concentrate like this, follow this set of exercises, and then what will happen? You will have extraordinary experiences called samadhi, which will prove to you the truth of religion. The truth of religion will be proved to you by these experiences. Extraordinary experience. So cultivate Ashtanga Yoga, a variety of meditation techniques, Kundalini Yoga, Mantra Yoga, so many things are there. But you are trying to achieve certain extraordinary experiences which you don't have yet. You'll have a vision of God in this form, or you will have a particular internal meditative state called some kind of samadhi, so on. Many kinds of visions and extraordinary experiences. That's another way. As distinguished from these ways, the path of knowledge says it's not a question of faith. We're not asking you to believe something. It's not a question of having extraordinary experiences. Even ordinary experiences will do. Any experience. And using the most ordinary experiences and reason, logic, we will guide you to that highest truth, to an understanding of it, and to the realization of it. So that is the unique path of Advaita Vedanta, Jnana Yoga. Now let's see how they do it. So that's what we're going to do now. Using the always available experience of waking, dreaming, deep sleep, using that means when we talk about it, don't fall asleep. Always a problem in Vedanta. If you have problems sleeping, you should attend Vedanta classes. And it's always been a problem. Even in Uttarakhand, I've seen in the Himalayas, the teaching is going on, and there will be some people always sleeping. And I think there's a story, visually probably, of Swami Sarvapriyannda. I think there's a devotee, this lady who would come to the class, and she would take care of the Swami, and she would ask the Swami every day, Swami, did you sleep well? And she would come to the class and fall asleep. So the Swami noticed that the lady was sleeping in the class. So after the class, when people were walking out and Swami was greeting everybody at the door, he looked at her and said, Madam, did you sleep well? That is not what is meant by waking, dreaming, sleeping. We have these experiences. What you are asked to do is be perfectly awake, alert, listen carefully and consider it. As the Upanishad guides you through step by step, consider it and say, yes, okay, that's true. Or I don't understand, I understand. In that way you have to progress through a philosophical investigation. You are Brahman. If you would only know yourself, Vivekananda often used to say in this country, if only you knew yourselves as you truly are. That's what he meant. So what is the method? The Upanishad says you have to know yourself. The first step is, Upanishad says, Atma. Atma means the self. Soyam Atma Chatushpad. You have 4 aspects. Atma has 4 aspects. You have 4 aspects. Every one of us. What are these 4 aspects? Waking, first aspect. Dreaming, second aspect. Third aspect is deep sleep. And the 4th aspect is the real self, Brahman, ultimate reality. One of the names of the ultimate reality in the Upanishads, Mandukya Upanishad, is Turiya, the 4th. The Upanishad itself says 4th, Chaturtham. The word Turiya, which has become very popular in Vedanta, Swami Turiyananda. So Turiya, it means literally it means 4th. Doesn't mean anything else. It literally, in Vedanta, the word Turiya means the absolute, the highest, but it literally means the 4th. The word Turiya itself is not found in the Mandukya Upanishad. It's used by Gaurapama in the Karika. In the Mandukya Upanishad, you find the word 4th, Chaturtham. Chaturtham manyante. People think it is the 4th. So, waking first, dreaming second, deep sleep third, and the ultimate reality which is going to be pointed out, it is the 4th. You have 4 aspects. 3 aspects are known to us. Then why is the Mandukya repeating these 3 aspects? That is the way of the Upanishads. First they will take up something well known to us. And then step by step from there, they will point out the ultimate reality which is not known to us right now. It's there, but we don't recognize it. It is you, but you don't know yourself as that. So, first 3 aspects. Let's start. What are the first 3 aspects? Waking, in Sanskrit, Jagrat. This is the first aspect of Atma. Let it be, nice to know. Atma means you. It's your first aspect, whoever you are. What is this first aspect? Look at the way the Mandukya puts it. Awareness, consciousness, whatever you call it, Chaitanya. associated with mind and body and the sense organs, having dealings with the external world. You see, right now. You hear, you smell, taste, touch. You can think, remember, understand, recollect, desire, love, hate, work, do action in the world. All of that is possible in the waking state. So where the consciousness through a body and mind interacts with a vast world, this consciousness is called the waking consciousness. And there are names for it. This consciousness associated with one individual body and mind, here, there, there. In each case it is called Vishwa. It's a technical name. We can simply call it the waker. What do we call it? The waker. Which you are right now, hopefully, the waker. This is called, and then one more thing. This is the beauty and a little difficult about Mandukya Upanishad. Not only it says that consciousness associated with one body and mind is the waker, which is easy to understand, which we are right now. That's exactly what you are right now. That's what is the first aspect of yourself. And that's easy to understand. But it also says consciousness associated with the entire universal experience in the waking. This entire universal experience in the waking. Consciousness associated with that is what you call God. Consciousness associated with that body and mind is what you call I. I am this person. Consciousness associated with the entire universe, you call it God. There is a name for that, and that is Virat or Vaishvanara, Virat, the vast. So this is called the Sthula Atma, the first aspect, the gross aspect. Gross not in the sense of awful. In America, the gross is used in another sense, messy or awful and horrible or something. But in the sense of physical. Gross means physical. Where through a physical body-mind system, with the physical body, through the senses, you come in contact with the physical reality. This is called your physical aspect. Sthula Atma. Then we fall asleep and we dream. There is a world of dreams, there are people, there are places we go to, and there's time going by, and events happen, good and bad, nice and not so nice. You have good dreams, you have nightmares, different kinds of, and in the dream it does not seem to be a dream. It seems to be pretty real. It's only when we wake up, we come out of it, we snap out of it, we say that, we wake up, oh, that was a dream. We dismiss it. But in the dream, you were there. You had a body. In the dream, you have a body. And other people are there. And plants and animals and events are happening. And yet when we wake up, we realize it was all our mind. Right? So, when you are in your dream, the individual being you there in a dream, you're called Taijasa. It's a technical term, Taijasa. In English, Taijasa. There are different interpretations why it is called Taijasa. Literally, if you translate it, it means the fiery one. Because in the dream we have much more freedom. What is not possible in this world, we create and we fulfill those wishes in the dream world. Compared to the waking, the dream is of course false. But the dream world, it seems very real. And one person, you in your dream, that is at the individual level, that is the second aspect of the self. But the Upanishad also says, consciousness associated with all minds, the cosmic dream, it is called Hiranyagarbha. Consciousness associated with all our minds in the dream state, at the subtle level, Hiranyagarbha. So this is your subtle aspect, Sukshma Atma. The second aspect of the self, the subtle aspect. And two, you see, always two, individual and cosmic. In the waking state, individual, you, him, her, me, all of us are individual. And there is a cosmic aspect. All of it together, consciousness associated with all of it together. And in the subtle world also like that. Each mind, consciousness with each mind and the dreams of each mind, Taijasa. Consciousness associated with all of it together, all minds, all this entire subtle existence is called Hiranyagarbha. Just the name. You can call it the individual dreamer and the cosmic dreamer, you can call it. You see, the advantage of this approach is, did you notice that yesterday when we approached it through the Aparokshanubhuti text, I'm not the body, not the mind, I am the unchanging consciousness beyond the body and mind. We solved those arguments, 5 arguments to show that I'm not the body and mind. But you know what it ends up with? As Shankaracharya pointed out, you end up being one consciousness apart from one body and mind. What about the others? Are there separate consciousnesses in each body? That's the feeling we get. So it is a separate world, and each of it is, the whole thing is separate from me. And then at the end you have to, what we did, second step of Advaita, to integrate all of it and say it is all appearing in one consciousness. But in the Mandukya, from the very beginning, it is one reality. You, from your point of view, experience a world, but it is the same consciousness underlying the entire universe. In the waking world, in the dream world, come to the third aspect of the self, deep sleep. When we fall asleep into deep sleep, neither are we waking and experiencing a world through our senses, nor are we dreaming and in a world of imaginations in the mind. Nothing. We do not even know the external world, we do not know our dreams, we do not even know that we are sleeping. There is no knowledge at all. And yet experience does not go away. We have an experience of darkness, blankness, of deep relaxation. When we wake up, what do we say? I slept happily. I did not know anything. In English we have these terms. I slept like a log. I slept like a log. In every language, I'm just thinking just a couple of days ago, in every civilization, every language, we have a reference to deep sleep, which is like almost a similar reference. Deep sleep, I did not know anything. I was completely out of it, out like a light, they say. And yet, since there are references in every language, every culture, these must be experiences of some sort. They are not experiences through senses, like waking. They are not experiences in the mind, like dreams. But yet, an experience of absence. Vedanta makes an important point here. It's not the absence of experience. It is the experience of absence. It's like you've got your eyes open now and you're looking. Suppose you close your eyes right now. Try it, close your eyes. Now if I ask you, are you seeing now? Your answer will be, I'm not seeing anything in particular, but yes, in one sense I'm seeing. You can open your eyes now. In one sense I am seeing. Nothing, because eyelids are closed, but have the eyes stopped functioning? No. Just I've closed the eyelids, that's all. So in the same way, when the external universe is not appearing, senses have shut down, body has gone to sleep. When the mind also goes to sleep and no dreams are appearing, consciousness does not stop. There is nothing for it to experience, but it does not disappear. And that is the experience of deep sleep. And when we wake up, we say, I slept happily. Sukham aham aswapsam. I slept happily. I did not know anything. Nakinchidave disham. I did not know anything. This is the experience of deep sleep, sushupti. This is the third aspect of the self called the causal aspect, karanatma. Causal aspect of the self. Why causal? Not casual. Causal aspect of the self. Why causal? Because the way Vedanta looks at it is in a very subjective, personal, subjective way. How do you experience your life? Isn't this a way of looking at your life? That I was awake and dealing with people, and then I fell asleep on the bed and I forgot my body, but in my mind there were dreams. And then the mind also shut down from your perspective. I'm trying to describe what each of us experiences. Mind also shut down, and there was nothing, absolutely, the darkness. And yet when I wake up, everything comes back. I, the person, I come back. I experience this body. I experience more or less the same world. I experience the same memories, desires, personality. It doesn't change or disappear. Which means, my point here is, which means in the nothingness of deep sleep, in the darkness of deep sleep, in that it was a potential state, like a seed state. where everything that you are was there, but not expressed. Just like a seed. Gaudapada calls it Bija Avastha. Bija means seed. Like a seed, where leaves and fruits and branches and roots, nothing is there. But potentially the whole thing is there. Now we understand with our understanding of genetics, DNA, that all the information is there. When it sprouts,